Well, everybody, I have returned. I can finally stream and upload again. So for those of you guys who were commenting on my most recent video about where did Zan go, where is Zan gone, is he okay, well, I got banned from uploading or streaming to YouTube for a week, falsely of course, with another back-to-back strike for hate speech on a video where I'm actually debunking hate speech. Thankfully, though, the strikes have now been lifted. I no longer have any penalties on my channel because every strike I've literally ever gotten on my channel ever was, repealed by, or appealed by YouTube eventually, and they admitted it was a mistake and I didn't really break the rules. But I have been striked falsely, which has hit my channel quite hard, close to, I'd say, 10 times in the last 4 years. Like, in the last 4 years, I've gotten nearly 10 false strikes. Usually at a rate of about 3 to 4 a year. At least 2 most years. There's not been a single year in my YouTube career so far where I have not gotten a false strike. The Nazis really hate you. I don't even know if it was from false reporting. I think it might have just been random YouTube scans on my channel catching me arguing against hate speech and then deciding to punish me for it. Regardless, though, a few weeks ago, back on July 9th, actually, to lay it out, on July 9th, I got... Or, sorry, not July 9th. Sorry, I fucked it up. On June 22nd, I received a warning strike on my channel. I lost my warning, which I had recently gotten back after a previous false strike that had been on my channel since 2019. I immediately, like a month later, got a new strike on June 22nd on a video called Zan Takes on the Nazi Debate Horde on Omegle. For policy, hate speech, they rejected my appeal within minutes, despite the video being like 30 minutes long. That's very much to be expected. No real humans check your video. And then on July 9th, I woke up to a real strike. Strike 1 out of 3 till my channel gets deleted. On my video, The Worst Game Review of All Time, which is literally just me reacting to a Boblax video, making fun of Nazis who hated Tears of the Kingdom. So, I don't even know. For hate speech, and my appeal was rejected within a few minutes as well. So, I have Cherry take to Twitter and post this tweet. Hey at Team YouTube, this is Xanderhal tweeting through my content manager. My channel was falsely striked twice for hate speech in 9 days. These strikes are false and today's is even more egregious as it's on a gaming video and the appeal was rejected in 5 minutes. Please fix this. So we send out that tweet. We managed to get like a lot of likes on it, but there are also a lot of Nazis and lolicons like really celebrating and stuff like that, like pack watching. Yeah, here we got a good example. We got this guy with the swastikas in his name, pack watching here. Oh, they're a lolicon too. Yeah, lolicon 100%. So yeah. Like, there was definitely a lot of lolicons and Nazis that were, like, pack watching my channel and stuff, but the story continues. If I go back a little bit, Cherry included a link to my channel, and then YouTube responded to Cherry. For us to take a closer look, mind sharing the video URL of the one you have appealed but got rejected. Also, when you've submitted an appeal, the next best step is to wait for the decision until you hear back from our policy team via email. So literal robot response, by the way, because we include the appeal rejected literally right here. So I don't know why they'd include wait for the appeal. Like, that is how piss poor they review it. They didn't even see the second image shows appeal rejected. They say wait for the appeal's decision. And it's like, it got rejected, dumb fuck. Like, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude, but like, seriously. Seriously. Come on. I know it's a robot, not a person, but come on. Cherry replies, thanks for replying at Team YouTube. Sadly, I already appealed both of those videos and they were immediately falsely rejected. Here are the links. I hope this helps. Team YouTube replies, update. After a thorough review of our policy team, from our policy team, unfortunately, your videos won't be reinstated. We understand this isn't the outcome you were hoping for. This is always what they respond with. This is a robot response. You were hoping for, but please review our policy on hate speech to avoid this in the future. Then 3 days later, I have to endure this ban, taking hits to my channel's performance. I've lost a ton of money from this ban in these strikes. They finally follow up after 3 days saying, following up, this was a mistake during the review process and your vids are back up. The strike will be removed from your channel too. We're so sorry this happened and appreciate your patience while we work to fix it. Do you see how broken this system is? I'm in favor of TOS, an application of TOS, but it needs to actually be accurate, and there needs to be an actual appeals process that doesn't require literally 2 false negatives on your appeal before you get the actual human to look at it and be like, okay, this is obviously not breaking the rules. Literally 2 auto-rejected appeals before I was able to get a human to look at it and realize it was very obviously not breaking the rules. And meanwhile, these literal Nazis are getting by with no strikes and no, like, worries to their channel. How recently Geeks and Gamers got remonetized after hundreds of videos harassing Brie Larson for being a feminist. The Jimquisition is collecting evidence for a future lawsuit if you want to send this over to them. Really? Wait, hold on. Really? Is there a video about that? I would love to react to it on stream if Stephanie Sterling, I think it is? Stephanie, right? I haven't watched Jimquisition in a long time. Like, yeah, I would love to watch that video. Stephanie Sterling. Oh, yeah, non-binary, right? Non-binary, but pretty femme-presenting, generally. Jimquisition has been one of those channels that, like, has had consistently good takes in the gaming sphere and has been focusing on the real issues, while the rest of, like, the gaming media sphere was constantly laser-focused on how things are going woke or SJWs are going to ruin gaming. And you had Jimquisition talking about how loot boxes and, like, all, like, things such as, like, paid DLC to finish the game, that should have been one whole game. Things like that are a big problem. I think she just goes by Stephanie now, seems to refer it at any rate. Okay. Thank you for the info. I appreciate that. Does anyone have a link to that? That sounds like an interesting thing to do. That would be a really good thing to sue Google for. Let's check this out. This seems like it's quite related to the shit that I dealt with. YouTube censored Michelangelo because of Zelda fan outrage.
Hello there.
This is an interesting intro.
See you, James Stephanie Sterling, or should I say chaste Stephanie Sterling today, for we do not want to, let's say, transgress any obscenity policies that YouTube may have enacted, because, well, their rules are ever shifting, and I found out this past week that even if you obey them, you can still be punished as if you had disobeyed them. That is why I'm taking no chances. Not only am I demure and modest in my hempen sheets, we've managed to make sure that the lobster is similarly virginal. Ain't no one being naughty today. Last week's video was doing big numbers, by my standards anyway. One of the fastest viewed videos on the channel in...
So, okay, my video that got striked was also about the Zelda drama. What is going on with YouTube in this Zelda game? What happened?
Years. At the time of writing this script, it is now currently the least viewed episode of this series in history. What made the difference between this video's success and its abject failure? Why, who else could it have been but YouTube? Once again demonstrating its outright hostility to the very content creators on its platform, while aiding and abetting the fraud, harassment and abuse that its own policies and selective enforcement of them allow. Even for someone like me, who is truly experienced in the myriad ways YouTube is a demoralizing, miserable, just plain sad thing to work with, what they did last week has left me in utter disbelief. Like, seriously.
Yeah, there's gonna be an adpocalypse. The fact that, like, this is getting covered by bigger YouTubers and it's becoming more and more impossible to deny. Right now, YouTube is actively punishing lefty content creators for covering the hate speech they platform that on their platform that is against their own TOS. this is not going to turn out well for YouTube.
You're not gonna believe what they did if you haven't heard about it already. So do join me as we look at that time Zelda fans got really mad at me, and it led to YouTube censoring the creation of Adam. And we're gonna do this in the most family-friendly, PG, inoffensive, cleanest way possible, because that's the conceit. Heckins. I won't even say cut. I honestly...
For those curious, by the way, YouTube has, like, outright assassinated content creators off their platform that just spoke negatively of the company. Mumpky Jones is probably the best example of this. He was basically just, like, extremely critical of YouTube, got multiple false strikes, tried to get it fixed, they kept rejecting him, he started to get angrier, and YouTube just outright deleted his channel out of nowhere because I think he called Susan something real mean, yeah, he just got deleted. No recourse, no email about why. They just straight up deleted his channel with no warning, no reason, no email, nothing. Just destroyed his career.
Didn't expect to still be talking about my extremely well-written, salient, and accurate...
Mumpky Jones is pretty chuddy, don't get me wrong, but, like, back then, with that situation, that example, that was a very blatant, like, YouTube just didn't like him and decided to just say, no, we don't have any rules that you've necessarily broken, but we're just going to get you off the platform.
Review of the legendary Zelda Kingdom Hearts, but then again, I didn't expect this all to end with YouTube age restricting my rebuttal to the frothing fanboy anger it inspired for literally the most ridiculous reason possible, so there you go. Since I'm ensuring the unimpeachability of this video by giving YouTube absolutely no vulgarity, obscenity, or inappropriate content, I cannot describe Zelda's extreme fanboys as accurately as I'd like, but we'll make do. So, the feculent poltroons who have made The Legend of Zelda their identity, a bunch of jobbier owls and ninny-hammers possessed of such mental frailty, they cannot brook the existence of a conflicting opinion regarding their new favourite children's computer game, haven't stopped being mad at me, and in all honesty, I've not exactly returned their anger with grace and politeness because, you know, they're dunderwhelps. They've choked up my social media with endless harassment, false accusations, and bigotry since I dared to say Tears of the Kingdom was good instead of perfect. They can go and splump themselves, bunch of splumpkin frigate heads. Last week, I published my video rebuttal to the rabid fanbaby outcry, which served as a means of dissecting a classic non-argument such Grindelmunt has always...
So, what I'm guessing is that these, like, hardcore right-wing Zelda fans started mass reporting Stephanie Sterling's videos until she got a strike on the one about Zelda, and this has happened to multiple content creators, and I got caught in it too with my video about the outrage about the new Zelda game. That is fucking wild. I had no idea this happened, and I got totally caught in this.
Trot out when they desperately want to discredit a review that doesn't agree with them. You didn't finish the game. It's a video I'm particularly proud of, one of the most extensive editing jobs I've ever done, featuring, to my mind, some of my sharpest writing and a number of excellent gags on a subject both interesting to discuss and enjoyable to poke fun at. I put some real love into showing my contempt, creating a video that I believe ranks among my very best. It's also, unfortunately, a video that roughly 30% of you couldn't access for most of this past week because within an hour or so of its publication, YouTube slapped an age restriction on it. An age restriction that made no sense whatsoever. Now, the last time I had a video suspiciously age-gated for no reason, it was one that ruffled Nintendo fans' feathers, and they seemingly responded to that video by mass reporting it as inappropriate until YouTube's jingle-fummerid bots enacted the restriction automatically with no human oversight.
So it's literally talking about Zelda and Tears of the Kingdom in any of a critical way, or defending the quote-unquote gay parts of it will get you that's wild. What the fuck? Because they'll mass report you, and YouTube's like it's very easy to weaponize YouTube's report system against small creators.
Doing this to a video because it's saying something you don't like about your favorite multi-billion-dollar corporation is, well, pathetic. It's hurtlingly pathetic. It's cowardly, it's slimy, it's infantile, it's downright as Gruber-trinistic. It also just seems to be a calling card of Nintendo fanboys, and they are mostly boys. This is, after all, the same bunch of buttersnikes who DDoS'd my website when I gave Breath of the Wild a 7 out of 10. The resort of the outraged Nintendo fan, it would seem, is censorship. It's the ultimate resort of vindicculous outraged gamer bros in general to try and silence critics and stamp out dissent. A delicious hypocrisy from a group.
Well, yeah, it's because they are the same as any other person on the right. They're outing the game. When they say the left wants to censor them, what they mean is they want to censor all dissenting opinions about the media they cover.
Who often claim to hate censorship, but weirdly only apply their stated principles when it comes to defending stuff like hate speech. Whoever's to blame, though. The result was the same thanks to the one that's ultimately at fault. It was YouTube that went along with mob rule that aided.
My favorite too is whenever Cherry posted the request for YouTube to fix the false strike, a bunch of conservatives were replying to Cherry's tweet saying, "This is what you get for being in favor of censorship." And it's like, every false strike I've ever gotten was by YouTube admitted to be false. I didn't break the rules. I'm in favor of the rules. Like, the problem here isn't that there's rules, it's that they're not applied well, equally, or like consistently. And then I'll get my strike revoked. Like, I'll get my strikes removed, and I'll be back to, like, YouTube will admit it was a mistake. And those people just dissolve away until the next time I get a false strike to say, this is what you get. You wanted this. You fought for this. And then I get the strike removed again. They just dissolve away.
And abetted the harassment of one of its content creators, and who took a video that was doing quite well and cut its feet out from under it. Now, in a fair world that makes sense, age-gating a video shouldn't strangle it so badly it effectively dies on the vine. Is that too violent to say for this video? Are we alright? Well, grapes die on the vine, don't they? It's not like violence. But this is a world in which YouTube exists,
will take any reason.
So that world of fairness and sensibility remains a fantasy. Age restricting a video doesn't just hide it from kids, but from anyone not logged in, who don't have YouTube accounts, and who view in restricted mode.
You also can't watch any age-restricted video in Discord Watch Together. You have no idea how much of a pain in the ass this is when I'm trying to watch funny videos with my friends, and a video's age-restricted, and there's just nothing you can do to watch it together in Discord. You have to, like, screen share it, and all get into, like, a different thing, or you have to, like, open Watch Together, a different website to do it together. Like, it's such a pain in the ass, and it's all YouTube's fault. They refuse to work with Discord to get the API set up so that you can essentially, like, log in to YouTube through your account through Discord and have it, like, function. Like, YouTube just refuses.
It turns out that's quite a lot of people. A number of my viewers, for example, understandably don't want a company as incompetent as Google to have their personal details, so haven't signed up and simply watch the videos without doing so. Despite the fact there's a YouTube Kids site specifically designed for children, and despite the fact that uploaders are required to state for the record that their non-child friendly videos aren't made for children,
the reason they're doing this is because they're desperate to, like, eke out every single penny they can from advertisement views. Ad space is getting less and less and less valuable. It's getting just less, it's just becoming more and more worthless. And so YouTube and Google and whatnot are just trying, all these websites really are trying to squeeze every last penny they can get out of a single ad. And that's not a thing on the content creators side. That's how much YouTube and Google can negotiate with these companies for ads to be worth for the creators. YouTube takes a cut of what creators make, but, like, how much total is spent on ads on the platform is negotiated between a company and Google.
YouTube still has the power and willingness to restrict anything it arbitrarily...
Actually, realistically, it's negotiated between a company and a organization that works with advertising, and then that organization works with Google.
Seems inappropriate, and when it does so, it has a direct and devastating impact on the video that gets restricted. Meanwhile, I saw a video made for kids in which one of those My Little Pony characters was, like, necking vodka. Like, we can't let the kids watch YouTube unsupervised.
Well, because these are big channels, like the Coco Melon, like, kid videos that are full of weird, like, sex shit and whatnot, like those videos are heavily monetized and have massive amounts of views and subs, so YouTube's extremely unlikely to penalize them. Like really unlikely. Elsagate was a big thing. I think another Elsagate is very much on the horizon. Like, YouTube just allows this shit to fester. Colleen Ballinger, the Miranda Sings lady, monetized and copyrighted her apology song and has now claimed all of the videos that were covering her apology and is now monetizing it, and YouTube has not banned her. Like, YouTube has allowed Onision to exist in this platform scot-free for a decade plus. Like, YouTube does not care if even predators are allowed to exist in the platform. You have to really raise hell to get YouTube to actually take action against these people.
Stuff that actually makes it to children is disturbing, to say the least. And my stuff isn't even for kids. Before the age restriction, YouTube notified me that my video was getting a lot more views than usual. After that age restriction, however, its momentum stopped to such an extreme degree that, like I said earlier, it's looking like it'll be among the least viewed Jimquisition episodes in the show's near 10-year YouTube run. YouTube is very, very rewarding to work with, and not at all a stressful, hateful experience that I'd want anybody to stay the spliff away from. After YouTube restricted...
Seriously, guys. It's fucking rough out here. Your support is very much appreciated.
...the video, I did the natural thing and appealed it. Like with copyright claims, you get one appeal, and if it's rejected, you're done. It is, again like copyright claims, a system that severely disadvantages the content creator, as the ones making the claims and allegations have final say in response to the single attempt a creator can make to protect their video from spurious, dubious, and sometimes outright fraudulent decisions. Historically, I've had pretty decent luck getting an age restriction reversed, only one time having to rely on an old YouTube contact to do some digging and get one lifted on a video I made about a homophobic game, because while homophobia, transphobia, racism, and anti-Semitism are apparently allowed on YouTube, to such a degree it often gets promoted by the algorithm, daring to criticize any of it can land you in trouble.
And that's what happened to me. Criticizing any kind of bigotry on this platform as a lefty figure is a massive risk. It is a massive risk you take every day that your channel will be completely shut down because YouTube will decide you're the one doing hate speech.
Neat! Anyway.
You know what the best part is? When YouTube strikes me for hate speech, do you know what message they put on the video that they take down and put the strike on? Like, for example, the video where it's me debating the Nazis on Omegle. They say, learn more about how to fight against hate speech in your country. That's the message they end off with you when they give you a strike for hate speech. So, like, literally right now, lefty content creators are getting hate speech strikes and being told to learn how to fight hate speech in their country for fighting hate speech. That is unironically how YouTube is currently functioning. Yeah, YouTube is currently doing the zero-tolerance bully policy, essentially, like in schools. For those that aren't American and don't know, in American schools, there's a zero-tolerance bullying policy, which means that if you fight back against a bully who physically assaults you, you are in just as much trouble as the bully, if you defend yourself physically in any way. So this oftentimes tends to result, commonly, somehow, in the bully getting off scot-free and the person defending themselves getting in trouble. This was very, very common in a lot of American schools. It's like a literal meme. But yeah, it was a big thing. It's why my mom specifically told me if I had to defend myself against a bully, go ham, she'll deal with the rest. If the police come to the school and they want me to talk to them, just say I want my mom, I'm not saying anything, and don't say anything. That's what my mom told me when I was a kid. If I get bullied physically and I have to defend myself by getting into a fight and I get taken to the principal's office, just wait for her to show up and she'll deal with it. If they bring the police, ask for my mom and wait for her to deal with it. This is when I was 10 or whatever, 8 years old or 10 years old. But yeah, I mean, the American school system's way of handling it is so fucked up that if you're a good parent, you will be ready to legally defend your child if they defend themselves against physical assault in school, because the school will penalize your kid and tell you a lie. Like the school will straight up lie to you as the parent about what happened. So yeah, it's pretty fucked.
way, despite my video containing nothing more objectionable than any other video I've made, in fact not being anywhere near the most vulgar ones in the series, YouTube rejected the appeal. Despite claiming to have carefully reviewed my 29-minute video, it rejected the appeal within 17 minutes, which does not sound to me like a careful review undertaken.
Xanderhal in high school, I was almost sent to juvenile hall for fighting. That's a jail for minors in America. For fighting back against a bully. Only reason that didn't happen is because the bully and their parents didn't press charges. Yeah, even in America, I'm pretty sure, like, legally, you gotta get, like, hit pretty hard a couple times before you can legally fight back. And I've even seen cases where guys have gotten in trouble legally for hitting a woman back after she, like, attacked him on video. So, like, that... You do have to be careful legally when it comes to, like, whether or not you can lay your hands on a person who's already laying their hands on you. It might not be as legally black and white as you think.
Taken by human eyes. Of course, human oversight on YouTube is thin on the ground, so it's highly likely the only processing the video had had up to this point was automated. In any case, there was no further recourse via YouTube's system, so I did the only thing you can ever do in these situations. I went on Twitter and whined about it. This turned out to, fittingly, be a more effective system of appeal than YouTube's own system of appeal, as, following a deluge of questions and indignation from my audience, the Team YouTube...
That's how it always goes. You have to have a big following on Twitter. That's the only way to guarantee your safety as a YouTuber. Having a big following on Twitter is the only way to guarantee your safety as a YouTuber. It's the only way. This is not like a unique experience. This is every YouTuber's experience. You have to every appeal will be rejected automatically within minutes of your sending it, like well in less time than your video is long. Literally impossible for a human to review your video. You have to contact Team YouTube on Twitter. They will oftentimes, like, not do anything and then eventually do something. Like, they have, like, bots that run Team YouTube's account as well, but eventually a human gets to it. It's weird.
Twitter account chimed in to ask for a link to the video because they couldn't be bothered to scroll up a bit, with the promise that they'd look into it for me. I told them...
Because it's a bot. They ask for it because it's literally a bot, and the bot is programmed to specifically... scan certain tweets. So you say you have a problem, the bot responds, "Thanks for reaching out, could you share the URL so we can see what's going on?" Because they can't scan the URL from that tweet, because that's just, the bot's just meant to register this person has a problem. Now it asks for a link to the URL, then the bot checks the link to the URL, rejects it, and then a human eventually gets to it, maybe.
I'd love to know what it is my video did that was so wrong. They said this might take a few days because, as we know, YouTube videos totally do okay with a few days of algorithmic abandonment.
Oh yeah.
Don't they?
YouTube channels love going a few days with algorithm abandonment. Let's see how this strike did my channel. It hit my channel hard, chat. Yeah. That's not great. Oh wait, I can't. Damn it. Yeah. It's down in the gray, because I haven't been able to stream for nearly 5 days. It's not good. It hit my channel hard. I'm gonna be getting back on that horse right away, but yeah, YouTube just sometimes just kills all of your momentum and says fuck you, and then admits that they were wrong, but then, like, they don't really give you... Like, it'd be nice if YouTube gave you, like, a little, like, welcome back boost when they, like, repealed a strike that they admitted was wrong, but no.
It's well known to be a site where the first few days of publication totally don't matter. I'm being sarcastic if you couldn't tell. A day or so passed. The video remained restricted, its views having stuttered to a near halt. Eventually, Team YouTube came back with an answer so canned it could have passed for baked beans. Unfortunately, our policy team confirmed that...
Yep. They rejected it automatically because it's a bot.
The age restriction won't be lifted.
Yeah, my strikes got removed, Saliva.
We understand this wasn't the outcome you were hoping for, but you can learn about our age restriction policies to avoid this in the future. LMK, if you have any other cues. You'll note that nowhere in that response did they actually do the thing I asked of them and tell me what specifically my video did that was so wrong.
It's
linking to a policies page I'd already been linked to that doesn't tell me a frungling thing. Anyway, they did say LMK if you have any other cues, so I LTK. What did the video do to get it? Why won't you tell me what the video did to get it? What did my other videos not do? What's the point of having a policy page when it doesn't help? Why is YouTube so arbitrary and inconsistent about its policies? What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you?
I didn't expect a single answer, but it felt good to vent, you know. What happened next surprised me. After a day of just shaking my head at the utter nonsense of it all, YouTube winded up for a pitch that I truly could not believe. One that would blow all previous silliness out of the water with an absurdity I could not have predicted. I got an email from Charlie.
They didn't even email me. YouTube didn't even email me to let me know the strikes were removed. They just did the Twitter reply.
And YouTube's community outreach team. I don't know if Charlie is an actual human or just another bot wearing the flayed skin of one, but in any case, they reached out, days after the age restriction, to finally tell me what my video did wrong.
Charlie says,
"We have determined that your video, you didn't finish the game. The Gymquisition was appropriately age-restricted as it contains nudity or other adult themes that are
Wait, they held it
unsuitable
up?
for some audiences, specifically e.g. at 4:19. I empathise that this is not the outcome you were looking for, but
They
the
actually said
specialist review
timestamp.
team has confirmed this decision."
Do you know what the nudity, adult
like
themes,
voice.
or otherwise unsuitable content was at 4:19? Do you
Hey chat, do you want to see how much YouTube cares about their nudity and sexual content policy? Go on YouTube right now, open a new tab, and look up naked yoga. Just that, just naked yoga, and click enter. Do it. YouTube's not done shit about this problem for literal years now. Yep. I got a video of a guy spreading his ass in my YouTube recommended. Yep. That is how not applying their actual rules to anybody who's actually breaking them YouTube is right now. Like, it is actually, like, broken right now. No way I'm searching that term. I'm just saying, if you want to look it up and see that it's real, you can. All it takes is a simple search and you can see how bad the problem is. I am not making it up.
want to know what utter obscenity got my video restricted? Well, I sort of said it earlier, but let's pretend we're revealing it grandly. It was
That painting, oh my god.
Michelangelo's The Creation of Adam. Yes, the fresco painting
Don't show
so
it on my
lewd, so
stream.
sexy, so downright sinful, that it's adorned the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel for centuries. A painting of such cultural, historical, and religious significance it could be found almost anywhere. A masterpiece you can see not only in school textbooks, but in dozens of unrestricted flippin' YouTube videos. That was deemed in this one highly specific case to be inappropriate. To call it a reach is to understate how desperate YouTube's justification is. Stretch Armstrong couldn't get his arms that far. Now, the weird latexy stuff would, like, snap and the strange powder would
I wonder if the only reason they fixed it for me is because I made a big hubbub about how they're defending racism.
come out. Now, yes, technically, Adam's got his Cumberbatch out, but we kind of already all decided as a culture, outside of truly regressive places, that Cumberbatches are fine in classical artwork. To
Yeah.
the point where nudies can be found in Animal Crossing, as well as, again, plenty of other unrestricted YouTube videos. It's been theorized by some that YouTube specifying it was the creation of Adam was a case of YouTube trying to justify its algorithms decisions after the fact. And people have had fun imagining the sheer relief felt by the review team when they felt they actually had some concrete nudity to pinpoint. Personally, I neither know nor care how they arrived at their decisions. I was so baffled by it, I went from being angry and sad about what YouTube had done to outright laughing my bass off. I mean, YouTube had just handed me a massive W here, deciding my next Gymquisition episode for me on the spot and giving me something utterly delicious to share with my lawyer and the growing folder of evidence I have that YouTube's treatment of myself and other creators is woefully unfair and unprofessional. What YouTube had done was literally emulate.
Okay, how do I get in contact with how do I get in contact with Stephanie Sterling? I will absolutely send all the info I have. Every email, every screenshot I've got, every Twitter response. I will absolutely give whatever evidence I can contribute to a lawsuit against YouTube for this. YouTube needs to get sued out the fucking ass for this.
That episode of The Simpsons where Michelangelo's David was deemed obscene and censored. They just did it. They just became Helen Lovejoy. What a bunch of yummy King Goldars. Naturally, I had more questions, so I asked them. May you please provide me a detailed description of the nudity found at 419? I would like to be absolutely clear on the scale of nudity being restricted. Please be as descriptive as possible. Can you tell me what the image at 419 is? I'd love to get an idea of YouTube's application of cultural understanding. Please can you tell me the name of the source image, its artist, and where the piece is physically located? Will you be restricting every video that contains the image seen at 419? Even a cursory glance reveals a multitude of unrestricted videos.
Well, what Stephanie Sterling's forgetting right now is that those videos made more money for YouTube than theirs did. Those channels have more subs and get more views. That's literally all that matters. The more subs and views you have, the less likely you are to get falsely striked by YouTube. They know. I know. I'm doing a bit too. I'm allowed to do bits as well.
Containing the image. If not, why not?
Trust me, I know they know.
Obviously, I've been updating my lawyer on this latest restriction of my work, as I have in all previous instances. Can I please have an express confirmation that you did indeed restrict my video at 419 after an unbiased review, and that mass reporting personal feelings of individual YouTube/Google staff members, or otherwise any other abuse of your policies, played no role in the final outcome? Can you confirm that any similar classical artwork is considered inappropriate, unsuitable nudity, or describe, again in detail, what it is and is not allowed to be shown, what is and is not allowed to be shown in said artwork? I'd retake that, but it's very hot in the hem. Can you confirm the extent of nudity that makes a difference between an age restriction and the outright removal of a video? For example, if I'm going to get restricted anyway, should I just enjoy the free pass and get my assets out? That should be all I need at this time, Charlie. It took a day before they caved. Yes, they caved. Despite multiple insistences they were in the right, it took just a few awkward questions, and maybe the implication of legal action, for them to reverse their policy. I'm not going to do the Dalek voice again, it hurts my throat. Hi Steph, thanks for your response, and I am sorry about the confusion. I wanted to acknowledge your...
Because they have to acknowledge in the end it was all bullshit from the start. They send you through this whole fucking rigmarole that just destroys your fucking channel for days at a time, because they're long response times, just for bots to keep telling you after days of waiting that they checked and they're 100% sure it's not, it's 100% correct strike. Then you got to go through another bot that tells you they're 100% sure it was a correct strike, and then you got to get through another bot that tells you they're 100% sure it's a correct strike, and then you got to wait 3 days, and then a human replies and says, sorry about that, actually, yeah, no, it was false.
Questions around our policies, and specifically Michelangelo's painting of the creation of Adam, but actually have an update for you. Upon further review, we have now removed the age restriction on this video. Occasionally, a video identified by our team is mistakenly actioned. When this is brought to our attention, we review the content and take appropriate action, including restoring videos or channels.
You should use the term "my lawyer" in your next false strike appeal. I should. That would be a good idea if I just said, like, I will be speaking to my lawyer about the lost revenue from this malicious, false application of your platform's moderation algorithm. Something like this. Something like that. I feel like that would be really good. That'll get the bots scared and they'll just drop the strike. Maybe that's the key.
Channels that had been removed, or, like in this case, removing the age restriction on your video. Specifically, we may allow nudity when the primary purpose is educational, documentary, scientific.
Yeah, have Cherry tag Legal Eagle and say, my attorney at Legal Eagle will be having a word with you. And just hope Legal Eagle plays it cool.
Or artistic, EDSA, and isn't gratuitous. I am sorry for your experience with this back and forth. Yeah, it's at this point I became convinced that maybe a human was talking. due to the slight
Maybe.
attempt at flexing by name-checking the painting and painter. Despite that, most of that email is very obviously boilerplate and answers none of the questions I had.
can't afford a
But would you
lawyer.
look at that? Rather than answer a single one of my questions, rather than actually communicate with a content creator about the policies that affect them, YouTube would rather reverse course on a decision it had confirmed, reconfirmed, and stood by as immutable. Remember, at every step of this story, YouTube had claimed my video was carefully reviewed, that
Yep.
people had looked at the video and confirmed it
It's just a
deserved an
lie.
age restriction. Then it just what? It just shrugs and leaves it at that? After what? Lying? I
Yeah,
mean, how can
lying.
I take it other than a lie? Either YouTube lied when it said it confirmed multiple times that my video was inappropriate and deserved an age restriction, or it's lying now by saying my video is appropriate and they simply lifted the restriction to get me off their back. Neither of those situations are really acceptable, are they? Am I supposed to believe that YouTube's so-called specialist review team is so inept they don't know their own policies and need multiple reviews alongside intense pressure from a creator, their fans, and their lawyer to get them to understand said policies? Even by YouTube's standards, I struggle to believe that level of sheer gratuitous ineptitude. I do not believe that what happened here was an honest mistake. I don't know if maybe my video hurt the fifis of some Zelda fans in YouTube's policy department, if YouTube just went along with the mob rule because it seemed the easiest decision at the time, if they were just going to extreme lengths to pretend the platform is governed by human beings rather than bots that can't understand context.
I think it's literally just bots that can't understand context, and they're just lying and trying to pretend like humans are doing it. I think there's a very small group of humans with a very big backlog, and they're supplementing, like, keeping people happy in the meantime with bots. It's very blatantly dishonest. They tell you the whole way you're having humans review it, but the entire time up until the very, 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 very last check, if you really raise hell, it's all bots.
Or what? But they confirmed at multiple stages that this wasn't a mistake, that they carefully reviewed it, that multiple departments got involved to verify and re-verify the decision to
bullshit.
restrict my video. Then, as soon as someone asks the right kind of uncomfortable questions, they suddenly back down, with no challenge, no explanation, no answer to a single thing asked the past 5 days? I'm supposed to take what happened.
So it's really either like lefty content creators are being like actively like disproportionately punished for like just for no reason, not breaking TOS, and it's like just like a very blatant like holy shit, this has to be changed, or YouTube's current moderation system has pretty much like a guaranteed way of getting out. Like, if you just bitch enough, no matter who you are and whether or not you did, like, really did or didn't break the rules, YouTube will just eventually, the bots will just relent and let you have your strike removed. If you just raise enough hell on Twitter. Because Geeks and Gamers got remonetized recently, and he breaks TOS a lot, so it's like, it might just be that YouTube has decided they're only pretend enforcing TOS now. And you can realistically get out of it no matter who you are and what rules you break. That could be the case.
And here is a win. I got YouTube to cave, to backtrack on a decision it not only made, but actively stood by multiple times. I demonstrated how, once put on the spot and asked to justify itself and its policies, YouTube would rather back down than rise to the smallest challenge. But ultimately, no. I'm not happy about this.
No, 'cause it'll
YouTube's
just
final
happen again.
communication is that I was punished for doing nothing wrong, that my video was stopped dead in its tracks for doing nothing wrong.
I took like a 30% hit to my channel's views and every other stat for doing nothing wrong by YouTube's own admission. And it's been that way every year, multiple times a year since 2019. I have not had a single year in my entire channel, like YouTubing career, where I have not gotten at least one false strike. Most years I get 2 or more.
That once again, harassment and attempts to silence critics via
Usually around
fraudulent
Christmas
use
and my
of
birthday,
YouTube's
weirdly
easily
enough.
abusable systems has dealt harm to a content creator with no recompense offered, and not even an apology. Note how YouTube's email only apologized for the confusion and my experience with the back and forth, and not for the so-called mistake of attacking my video in the first place.
They don't
I
believe
didn't
they
even
made
get a
mistake.
real sorry. That's not a win. That's YouTube.
Cats be like that.
What do you mean it's itchy? You're the one with a carapace. Is it a carapace?
I think so.
The same thing, isn't it? Anyway, I actually do have an interesting epilogue. You see, when they lifted the restriction, I knew they wouldn't say yes to the idea of like front paging the video or doing some sort of promotion, but I felt entitled to ask, because I am. At the time of filming, and this is the very last thing we're doing,
this is interesting.
at the last minute even, I just got an email back from Charlie, and I mean, he said no, obviously, but did offer a phone call to basically let me discuss my frustrations and what I discussed as a pattern of mistreatment and the facilitating of abuse directed at my platform. So, I guess, I mean, look, there is no way that is gonna end in anything productive, but maybe I'll take that call. Maybe I'll have a chat with Charlie. In the meantime, thank the good Lord above for me.
This is a good video. I'm going to be linking that hardcore down below in the description and the pinned comments, so please go support that video because it is very important to boost that kind of stuff. Yeah, YouTube's just fundamentally broken with its application of TOS right now. Even if you do end up getting it fixed in the end, you're going to have to suffer through days of your channel taking like a massive hit to every stat. Hell, my last stream, I had over 1,000 viewers. I maxed out today at 700. That's how much of a hit that just getting a false strike for 5 days will do to a smaller channel. And I've been receiving these a couple times a year my entire YouTube career. It's kept me from growing significantly. Like, the only reason I'm not at 100,000 subs already is these false strikes. It's a serious detriment to a lot of lefty content creators. Dylan has been hit with multiple false strikes for being pro-Ukraine. Pro-Ukraine content has been left and right, been getting hit with false strikes for pro-terrorism content. YouTube removes more than 9,000 channels relating to Ukraine war. YouTube has taken down more than 70,000 videos and 9,000 channels related to the war in Ukraine for violating content guidelines, including removal of videos that refer to the invasion as a liberation mission. That's good, at least. The platform is hugely popular in Russia, where unlike some of the US peers, it has not been shut down despite hosting content from opposition figures such as Alexei Navalny. YouTube has been able to operate in Russia despite cracking down on pro-Kremlin content that has broken guidelines, including its major violent events policy, which prohibits denying or trivializing the invasion. Since the conflict began in February, YouTube has taken down channels including that of pro-Kremlin journalist Vladimir Solovovoy. Channels associated with the Russians' Ministry of Defense and Foreign Affairs have also been temporarily suspended from uploading videos in recent months for describing the war as a liberation mission. Isn't Russia Today still up on YouTube? YouTube's chief product officer, Neil Mohan, said, "We have a major violent events policy that applies to things like denial of major violent events, everything from the Holocaust to Sandy Hook. And, of course, what's happening in Ukraine is a major violent event, and so we've used that policy to take unprecedented action." So that unprecedented action has actually kind of scattershotted into pro-Ukraine content, and Dylan has been one of many pro-Ukraine content creators who are not breaking any rules that has been striked for that very same, like, violent events policy, as well as, quote-unquote, promoting terrorism, which apparently just gets you a strike on YouTube, which is like, really, YouTube? You've determined this video promotes terrorism, and that just earns you a 1 out of 3 strikes and you're out. That's it? That's all. Like, really, YouTube? Okay. Alright, I guess that's how you do things here. I don't know, dude. Yeah, this site is just fundamentally broken. Any support you guys can send my way is appreciated, and frankly, you should send support to Stephanie Sterling as well. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for watching.